Hello and welcome to today's video, and today we have a slightly newer version of my little AIWA here. This is, if you remember rightly, this is the HST120, and in the previous video we actually managed to get this one working. Now it doesn't have any batteries in it at the moment, but it's still keeping the time, so there's obviously a slow discharge capacitor in there which is still doing exactly what it should do. So I've borrowed the batteries out of it for a little while, and I'll just put that battery cover back on. I can go and sit over there for a bit, and I've put the batteries into this one. So radio mode appears to work, albeit I haven't actually connected it to any kind of output as yet. But the one thing that does seem to be causing some issues is the tape playback. So if I hit play, there doesn't seem to be any kind of motion from the cassette carriage itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive straight in and get the cover off. Looks like there's a lot less screws on this one than there were on the previous model. Also, general construction, it doesn't feel as good, doesn't feel quite as premium as the last one. So I'm going to pop the batteries back into my other one. Also doesn't have Dolby noise reduction, so the other one has got Dolby B noise reduction. However, it doesn't have the super bass option that this one has, but they both still have the tape metal selection, although this one does have a sort of auto reverse setup, as can be seen by the two capstans and the two pinch rollers. It's, if you look at the heads, you've actually got two probably really can't see that unless I put it at that angle. You might be able to see it. You've actually got two stereo heads in there, so two individual stereo heads within the actual head itself, which means that regardless of the direction, it will be able to read the tape itself. And to change direction, there's literally just this switch at the top, which if you look inside the machine, actuates a little plastic lever here, which literally flicks the entire mechanism. So on this one, it's going to be this capstan that's that pinch roller and capstan. That one is going to be that pinch roller and capstan. Obviously, if I have it in a stop state, you do still see some changes inside, but nowhere near as obvious. So it means that you could be sort of playing back and then just go, oh, I want to play that side now, or I want to play that side. There's also the option to loop playback, so you can sort of have continuous playback if you wanted. So in some ways it has more features, but it's not as well put together. So let's get inside of it and let's have a look to see if there's anything that we can do for it. So I'm actually wondering if we do have belts which are so gummed up that they are stopping it from working at all, so to speak. So we have these couple of screws here which we need to take out. So we'll take that one out, followed by this one. And there's nothing that I can see around. Oh, there you go, there's one there. So are these the same length? Yep, those are the same length. We then have one round here. Which is going to be completely different. So that's got a collar on it, so we'll put that there. There isn't one round the other side. worth seeing if I can pop that off. So that's going to be a little switch, and if I'm gentle with it I should be able to get underneath and completely pulling it out of the way. That has just vanished. Oh, there it is. That's the... So it hasn't taken the switch with it, thankfully. That's gone somewhere on my desk. Is it underneath the Brisk PC? No, it's not underneath that. It really has sent itself into orbit somewhere. We will find it in a minute. Anyway. So that that allows you to take the front cover off, which so that's obviously screws that front cover on, so that you can take that off and actually separate it. This back cover, there's no other screws that I can see. There is no screws on the side. If I take this front cover off, so if I come out this side and let's have a look in here. So you come out, obviously that'll freeze that up, so if I come out there, you would think that it would sort of just pop out on the other side. Now my next thing to look at was, were there any screws in here? Not that I can see. So there's nothing obvious that I can see there. This, I'll be honest with you, this looks like it should just come out, unless it slides down. So there is this thing here. You normally see these when you've got something that sort of slides off, as it's like a tag that holds it in place, which would make sense. So it doesn't seem to want to slide at all, because you've obviously got the volume control there that would be stopping it physically from coming out. So let's see if it is just a gentle prise up job. And so far, so good. So normally you'd use like a plastic thing to get into there to do it, but I'm being a bit lazy. So it does look like, well, we do still have a belt on there. That's a start. So then you've got it on the other side where it will be probably held in, there you go, and then that should, oh, there you go, that comes away quite nicely. So in here we have a similar setup to last time, with the circuit board, a fragile looking ribbon cable, and some very fragile looking cables here, which do seem to go somewhere onto this board. They look like power cables, judging by the colour. Now, this is the next fun part. There's clips up here which hold the board in place. This looks like a signal cable from the heads, judging by the fact that they're shielded. This does come away, albeit not easily. doesn't really give you any access to the mechanism, and to be honest, the mechanism, the belts all look to be in one piece. So there's the motor here, see that there. That's obviously to the battery compartment there. Now, is there anything else holding it in apart from a couple of wires? Oh, look at that. Do you see that there? That looks like a really gummed up belt. So it'd be interesting to see if I can get the rest of this out. What's going to be holding it in? So this is obviously holding things in. I'll move that to one side. You can then see what's going on in here on this side. So we've got these wires obviously holding us up again. They're definitely going to be holding us up. Although I might be able to very gently applying such little force to them. There's one. There's the other. And there's another one. Okay, let's freed those up. Let's see if that makes a difference. Do you know, it looks like it's trying to take the whole motor with it. Why it would want to do that, I don't know. Oh! Little screw. Single little screw. There. There you go. I might be able, with this ribbon cable, might be able to gently peel it off of the... Oh, that's going to be... Yeah, that ribbon cable is going to be the next issue, because that's really stuck down there. The last thing you want to do is to damage it. Now, you could try and gently roll it out like me. The more sensible approach would be to apply a very small, gentle amount of heat to it. That should soften up the sticky tape in there enough to allow you to very gently just prise that whole ribbon cable off of the bottom of the cassette tray, battery tray itself. However, I like to live dangerously, so I'm just going in and gently teasing it up like so. Yeah, you can see there, as you sort of gently tease it more, that does seem to sort of come up a little bit easier. And the more you do it, the more available it becomes, until it's actually the point where if I move this now, hoping it should come up. What I will do is check for any more screws on here, so check under here. So I can't see anything obvious under there. There's nothing around the motor now, so we are free to move around the motor. And bingo, there you go. You can gently just move that to one side, and immediately you can see the problem. Look at what's happened there. That whole drive belt is on the verge of turning to goo, and it had basically wrapped itself around the motor so much that the motor was unable to spin. So I reckon now if I put some batteries into here and give it some power, so battery, and there you go. So I don't know if you can see that, the motor's spinning quite happily. That was our problem. The next question is do I have a belt that is this thin and this long? That's huge. The answer is probably no, I don't. I don't think I do. I can pretty much tell you I don't. So let's pop this into my to-do pile, which isn't very big because I normally get everything done on the time that I actually dismantle it. Let's pop that over there. Oh, careful. I don't want to hurt my 1930 tube. There you go. Stick out the way there. Let's pop that out the way over there. And at some point in the future we'll order in a replacement belt. But first I think we need to have a look at the potential size of this, because this is enormous. Well, enormous by cassette deck standards anyway. So if I grab my measuring things, my vernier calipers, wherever they have gone, they are around somewhere. I did have them earlier. This is exactly what I tend to do. I tend to put things down, think, oh, I will need that later, and then completely forget where I've put them. All very standard James behaviour. Here we go, there we are, there they are, so let's grab those out. And let's bring these out into the open. And let's get, oh dear, that's interfering with the tripod. Just move that down a little bit. About there should do it. So we'll start zeroing the clocks and we'll go from here. So annoying. It's sticky as anything. Right the way down to the end. And that's 133 millimeters. 133.95. So 133.95 millimeters. Right, thickness, that's going to be the next one. Uh, 0.19 millimeters thick. So that's going to be my next challenge, is actually finding a suitably sized belt that's both thin enough and the correct size. If I squish it even more, does it go down? yeah, you can squeeze it too much, which is what you don't want to do. You want to get it to a point where you begin to feel it become squashed, but not quite. So that might be classed as squashed. That about there, it's probably classed as not squashed. That's about 0.36 millimeters thick. So I'll say between 0.19 and 0.36 millimeters thick. So that certainly gives me something to hunt out for anyway. And that conveniently brings us to the end of today's video. I'll just put this one back together because this one has been repaired. And because this one doesn't have the auto reverse mechanism, it's a lot simpler to get belts for. And it is also a lot simpler to repair as well, albeit a little bit fiddlier because you couldn't get the whole circuit board out of this one. With that one over there, you can actually remove pretty much the entire board, which is quite good. And yeah, there you go. That's obviously stretched, but that might be too stretched. That would be a lot longer than 13. Let's try that again. So let's go like this. So if I pop that onto there, come down, there we go. Blimmin' hell, that's actually pretty much at the limit. So that's 154, so it's going to be between 133 and 154 millimeters. So we'll have to have a look, and we might actually get a small range of belts in that sort of size. Because yeah, you've also got to take into account the fact that it probably has stretched over time as well. And then it's a case of working out how it goes into the machine. Anyway, that's it for today. If you have found this video interesting, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, take care, and see you soon.